Hi everyone, today is the third week of Advent, and the tenet this week is joy. Now, if you're familiar with the traditions surrounding the Advent wreath and Advent tree, you may know that there are 4 candles, usually 3 blue, or in some traditions they choose to have purple, and 1 rose candle or pink candle. And then the central candle, which is that white candle, the Christ candle, speaking of the incarnation and the light that comes into the world at Christmas. Historically, this week is the week of joy, which displays the rose candle or the pink candle on the wreath or the tree. And this week is connected to Mary, the mother of Jesus. Most of the readings talk about the Magnificat, or what is also known as the Song of Mary. And although I love Mary and I revere her very much and respect her, today I would like to hone in on the tenet of joy itself and speak about that a little bit today. In the Hebrew Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 9, verse 7 reads, "Go, eat your food with gladness and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do." Those who know me, and at least know me well, know that I love a good party. I love good food, and I relish in laughter and humor. And of course, I love good wine too. To be honest, I love a good dry Merlot. It's my favorite. And so this text from Ecclesiastes about joyful enjoyment catches my eye. And although the text is not an Advent text, it reads and rings true, at least for me, when addressing joy and merrymaking. And so, according to tradition, the book of Ecclesiastes is attributed to Solomon, and many scholars believe he wrote it in his later years. Now, Solomon was an interesting character in the Hebrew text, and he had many, many faults. And in many ways, when some people look at him, they really quite think that he was quite a scoundrel. And I think he was quite a scoundrel myself. However, God uses a lot of scoundrels in the scriptures, and scoundrels can even, yes, bring us wisdom. And so Solomon has and continues to provide wisdom to us today. In the verses which proceed from verse 7, which I read above, Solomon states that we are all going to die, and our work and our knowledge, etc., are all a fool's game. All our opinions and disagreements and principles and what we think is right and what we think is wrong are not all for nothing, but will eventually come to an end, because, like Solomon says, we are all going to die. Now, death doesn't seem too good, right? And it seems like the opposite of joy. In fact, we all deal with lots of things that seem to be the opposite of joy, especially in this life. We deal with the loss of a loved one. We deal with the loss of employment, the loss of housing, the lack of food, failing health, and this pandemic, and the list goes on. But here, Solomon is telling us that we could still eat, that we can still drink, that we can still be joyful, even despite all our troubles in life. For life, joy, and merrymaking, eating and drinking are God approved, and is that not good news? This holiday season will be much different than in years past. But may we all remember that the words brought to us from God, according to Solomon, tell us that joy comes from within us. Joy comes from the one who creates us, the one who spoke life into being at the Big Bang, the one who came as a lowly baby in Bethlehem, the one who calls us to peace and justice and equality for all people, and the one whose spirit still is alive and well and speaks to us today and calls us to live lives of grace-filled abundance. So let us never lose our heart, let us never lose our hope, and always know that our joy, that joy that lives deep within, is already God approved. This week, I invite you to open your heart to the gift of joy, that blessing which lives within us all, and feel free to share or comment on how joy found you this week, whether it be in food, good wine, family, or the blessing of a warm home and good health. And for those that you may know that are suffering this year, may you find the joy that is in them and help them in a safe and careful way know that the God of joy is there with them in this Advent and Christmas season. Tune in next week for my reflections on love, and may you have a good week.